Okay, hello everybody. This is of course not TI. I'm getting myself confused. Welcome back to the MarsTV Dota Elite Invitational. We've got a couple of the Chinese qualifier teams in here, but obviously not the same event, so my bad there. As far as the bumper was concerned, welcome back. I'm Baseskip. Joining me is Fogged. We've got DK versus LGD coming up. And any immediate thoughts jumping to your mind, Fogged?
LGD's looking pretty good. They're looking confident. DK played a little bit sloppy, but overall, you know, they're DK.
Yeah, DK started at the day 0-2. They're currently 1-2. LGD 2-1. Newbie pretty much untouchable at the top. CIS now 0-4, so they're sitting down towards the bottom. But with that said, this could result in a pretty massive tie, but we'll have a look at the standings maybe a little bit later on. Right now, let's just jump ourselves straight into the draft, and nothing too unusual thus far.
Yeah. Didn't really see Tree get too much love in the past couple games, I don't think, that I was watching. Don't know if he was even banned at all, but IG, look at me. It's good. First third power.
We got this. No, it's all good.
LGD decide they pick up the first pick Invoker, no shocker there. Usual bans coming out of both teams. The AA Lycan coming out, the majority of the ban, you know, every single game, basically those heroes are banned. Same thing with the Bat Rider Tree. Like I was saying, not getting the most love in this tournament, but Sanking Mirana being picked up by DK as a response toward LGD's Invoker.
Yeah, pretty ambiguous. Well, not necessarily ambiguous openings. DK, of course, I think do run the Mirana in most positions, so it's a little bit of variance possible there. LGD just going to take the Rubik, stealing Arrow, stealing Burst Strike. There's some fantastic spells already over on DK to get your hands on, so not too surprising to see the support pick up here as well. Also, just taking one support within your first two helps keep things a little bit open. You don't really give away too much information as far as the opening of the draft is concerned. So, yeah, move ourselves into the bans. Little bit surprising, LGD are going to get rid of the Kunkka. What do you make of this?
LGD's turn to ban.
I don't know. I haven't really...
DK do run it. It's one of Mushi's signatures, to my understanding. And worth pointing out as well that Mushi is actually currently drafting for DK. And they do actually shuffle around a little bit. I think Ice and MMY are probably the two people that you won't really see drafting on DK, but Lanham, I think, was their drafter for Star Ladder. Burning occasionally takes the helm as well. So a little bit of, you know, I think it's a strength for the team as well when you have multiple different drafters. They all maybe have slightly different styles, and that means that you can, during a series or, you know, if things are going well, switch who's drafting, get a new perspective on things, and maybe rattle your opponents a little bit.
It's definitely a good strength there. And LGD looks like they're focusing their second two bans on...
They're banning Mushi.
Yeah, they're banning Mushi. That's for damn sure. So OD ban coming out, not pretty expected. They have Invoker already. You don't really want to have Invoker versus OD ever. Short lane Invoker is not really the best. We do see it occasionally. LGD is one of the teams that does run the Invoker basically anywhere. We see him in the off lane sometimes. We see him short lane. We see him mid. We see him basically all over the place.
Yeah, definitely plenty of options. DK do choose to ban out the Doom here. Nice to have, of course, against the Mirana, but they might be moving themselves towards, well, almost everybody is a Doom vulnerable hero, but maybe something in particular. And with the Slark ban as well, I'm starting to think maybe core Mirana here for DK. Obviously, they've still got flexibility as far as the remainder of the draft is concerned, but the Slark is a hero that can apply a lot of pressure to a safe lane farming Mirana. So I guess we'll have to see where DK go from here.
Yep, they still got a lot of options. Not revealing anything. I mean, still, of course, only the first two picks. We'll find out pretty decent amount from DK, but I don't know. They like to hide their lanes. Both these teams are very good at hiding their lanes and just putting your heroes basically anywhere, like I was saying, the Invoker off lane, and just trying to trick your enemy as much as possible, letting them slip up and letting them react to you.
Yeah, they're both really good as far as the laning mind games are concerned, and just keeping a good picture of all of the possibilities. You know for sure that DK are thinking, okay, look, we have the potential to still shift into aggro if LGD try and be too greedy about things. We can still maybe pick up another ganking support, apply a lot of heavy pressure to the Invoker. Meanwhile, for LGD, probably the same kind of story. They're thinking, okay, look, if DK are really greedy as far as the mid lane is concerned, we can have another ganking support, or we can solo roam the Rubik to help out the Invoker, apply some pressure there. And there's still so much open, especially now with the bans out of the way. This is where things get really interesting as far as the draft is concerned. But DK is still just keep things kind of generic. They go for the Centaur here.
Yeah, and I love the hero overall. I mean, I think he's gotten, you know, a little bit of a nerf, and he hasn't gotten as much love as he used to, but I think the hero is still extremely powerful, especially like if you can be running it just really well. And DK is one of those teams that just they've shown how well they've run that Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be fair to say maybe that a big reason why we've seen the offlane Centaur so much in the metagame at the moment, you can sort of trace it back to Ice Ice Ice, and he was running it a lot. Nobody was really doing it at the time. He showed that he could be really effective, and just how strong Stampede was. And you know, a couple of weeks later, literally everybody is first picking it, first banning it. So
I mean, AoE 3-second stun, high damage nuke with low cooldown, pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, 2.75, but still basically a 3-second AoE stun on the Centaur. So not too shocking seeing LGD pick up the Lifestealer. They've been running it a ton, and I personally think that it goes a little bit both ways. Lifestealer versus Centaur. Lifestealer is good versus him, but then once Centaur hits 6, you know, Stampede kind of cuts the Lifestealer around a bit when it's up. So it goes both ways. I like either way picking up the Lifestealer at that point.
Yeah, and DK, they see the Lifestealer, they're just going to pick up a Weaver here. Nothing too surprising. Pretty classical, not counter, but a nice core hero to have against the Lifestealer. Just kiting around in circles is always really nice. Does add some more options for the Rubik. This is a really nice Rubik game at the moment.
Shikuchi, Mirana Arrow, all of
Even
Mirana's
Stomp,
spells.
not that bad.
Yeah, Stomp is quite good as well.
He's also pretty good against Centaur. You blink in, you got fast reactions, you can lift him during the hoof stomp animation, turn things around. So I think the Rubik is shaping up to be a really nice pick as far as.
So do you think that's going to be the support Mirana that we were talking about, since they have already, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
triple core basically.
Yeah, since they've got the Weaver picked up, probably still just looking for a mid hero right now. But I wouldn't really say that Mirana is something that we would expect to see Mushi playing on the mid lane. So I think that does sort of coalesce your lanes, more or less at this point.
And DK looks like they've been running some different supports, especially recently. I mean, a lot of this scene has been running Mirana on the support, but DK last game that I was just casting, they ran Lion and Skywrath, which I don't think we've seen basically at all.
Yeah, Skywrath support is definitely super uncommon. Lion, I mean, we see from time to time, nice against Weaver, nice against Morphling, so, you know, he sees the occasional bit of play, but the Skywrath support was definitely a little bit out of left field, and it actually worked really well if you look at
situational. Yeah, it's very good versus Puck throughout an entire game, so I didn't really blame them for picking it.
Yeah, I think all of the other heroes in that game as well, it was just fantastic against. Like, there was a Lifestealer, you silence him, he's pretty useless. So, nice pickup. DK, they've got a little bit of bonus time remaining here. What do you think we're going to be seeing? LGD, I think, very wisely banned the Templar Assassin. They're just looking for somebody who's going to be an alright matchup. Potentially against the Invoker here on mid.
I don't know who the DK is going to pick up, actually. Because they need what? They need Mushi's hero, so...
Yeah, it needs to be a Mushi hero.
Good Mushi hero versus all... Okay.
Tiny.
Well then, I would never have guessed that. But we've been seeing some mid-tiny coming out from some of the teams. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's definitely a strong hero. I think a lot of teams, especially Fnatic, have shown that... you know, Tiny, even without Wisp, is still a very scary force. Not 100% sure exactly what's going to be happening as far as lanes here are concerned. Are you thinking just mid-Tiny, maybe with a little bit of non-stop arrow action from the Mirana, perhaps, just to keep the Invoker on his toes? I'm not actually 100% sure.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. It could. I think it's probably going to end up being that. But,
I mean, it could... You could also maybe put the Weaver mid, but he would still need a little bit of help from the supports in LGD. Well, they see a fairly greedy lineup from DK, and they're just going to immediately pick up the Lich. And also, I think the new Frost Armor is also going to be pretty relevant this game when you're talking about building damage from both Weaver and the Tiny. So
yeah,
Frost Armor to have.
Frost Armor, pretty good skill now. I really like it. And overall, like the Lich pick with the Tidehunter is just really strong because now Tide's... It is Radiant, so he is going to get a bit of experience no matter what, but denying creeps, of course, like he's going to be able to get a ton in that offlane if they opt to do something like that. And yeah, they're still hiding their heroes. They have not picked... The only Lan M has picked that Sand King, so we still don't know where anything's going to be. And even if they do pick, I mean, they run all over the place. Ice, sometimes middle, but well, we can end up seeing what they decide to do. I'm hearing lots of pings coming out, but I don't have a mini-map right now.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what the discussion is going on for Mushi. Well, or for DK. I'm sure Mushi is like, look, this is the plan. Somebody else is saying, okay, maybe we do this slightly different thing, and probably a little bit of back and forth in the DK camp. But everybody's going to pick up their heroes now. I'm going to make sure to get rid of the overlay. There we go. This is an unfamiliar setup for me. I've done hardly any main casting as far as the qualifiers and stuff is concerned. I think this is my second time actually in the
You're doing fine.
So yeah, I'm sure this will do just fine. So guys, welcome to the game. It's DK versus LGD for the MarsTV tournament. And over on Team DK, we're going to have MMY handling the Mirana. Boots first up for him.
Boots first on both supports.
Roaming is good. I don't mind it. So this looks like that's maybe the plan as far as lanes are concerned from DK. Just keep it relatively flexible. Meanwhile, I've got Lanham on the Boots for Sand King. As Fog points out, we've got Ice over on the Centaur. So no big surprises. We were just talking about how he pretty much popularized the hero, in all honesty. Mushi is going to be over on the Tiny. And Burning is going to be handling the Weaver. The one thing that we didn't touch on is the sick synergy between Tiny and Centaur.
Yeah, I was going to say the Tiny, tossing the Centaur, and it's going to be, they can find some pretty damn good pickups with it. It's also same thing with the Sand King. It's not as common, but definitely Centaur is a bit more likely of the tossed unit.
Yeah, so nice little possibility for some ganks there as far as DK are concerned. They're going to keep on moving down here as 5, but everybody on LGD is playing back pretty defensively, so I think we should be fine to introduce them as well. Meanwhile, over on LGD, we've got Lin on the Boots First Invokers. So we've got 3 Boots First in this game. We've got DD handling the Rubik, heading towards mid. Rabbit is going to be on the Lifestealer. So LGD actually shuffling things up a little bit here, trying to protect the Invoker down in the safe lane and leaving the much more gank-hardy Lifestealer over at mid. And to round out the lineup, we've got DDC handling the Lich, and Yao will be on the Tidehunter. So no scouting information from either team to start things out.
Yeah, looks like DK does put down that ward though in the Radiant Jungle, blocking off the pole, blocking off that big camp as well. Kind of not only the best ward to always do because it's kind of predictable if you don't see that big camp spawn, you're like, and your pole camp's not spawning, you're like, uh oh, yeah, they wanted that.
But it's mind games.
It
right?
is mind games.
That's how the warding meta works in competitive games. Everybody gets weird for a couple of days or a couple of weeks where we start seeing the really, really creative wards that have less vision getting broken out, and then once people start dewarding the weird wards, that's when you just go straight back to stock standard stuff. So we'll see if the gamble, if we can call it that, maybe pays off for DK, because a lot of teams will fake this ward by having their observer over here, and then also maybe blocking the pole camp down over here. So it makes it really difficult to deward, especially if you're expecting this one. But we'll see. I'm sure LGD supports will be able to put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, hopefully. I mean, DD is quite good at dewarding for the most part I've seen, and I think one of the more common ward spot is that one tree by the pole. So that one I think does actually end up covering that.
Yeah, you cut down this little pine tree pointy one. You put it pretty much right on the stump, and it should handle this.
I do like this idea though by LGD setting the Lifestealer mid, because not only is he able to dodge those ganks, he also puts a decent amount of pressure on the Tiny because he's just able to force him out, because Tiny does have that 0 armor. Even though he does have a high health, I think it could end up being pretty beneficial for LGD.
Yeah, and I think that's just the advantage that LGD have in terms of looking at DK and being like, look, the only time that DK really shuffle their lanes around too much is when, say, Ice is on Invoker. And then you'll have Mushi in the off lane and Ice on the Invoker wherever he's handling it. But for the most part, Mushi is their mid player, and I think a pretty good read from LGD as far as potentially putting that Lifestealer mid in. Given the item build that we're seeing for Mushi, it looks like he is going to be mid, just a straight up bottle rush for him. So should be pretty good times here for the Lifestealer. LGD just going to have a ward scouting at the top rune. Neither team really camping at the rune too hard just yet. MMY is starting down over in the Roshan pit right now, so maybe a potential gank towards mid. Lanham's actually going to be scouting at the top rune, so
and they are switching
their options covered.
They're switching it up a little bit. They're sending the Centaur top and putting the Weaver bottom, so they don't want Burning to get his farm crippled at all by that the Lich obviously denying all the time. And Centaur, not really the biggest deal. His levels won't be as good, but that hero doesn't need the most farm in the beginning. You do need to blink relatively early, but you don't need to be free farming a lane by any means.
Yeah, and the other nice thing as well is that by putting the Centaur up here, eventually he gets his blink dagger and he starts moving around and he starts doing things, and that's where even if the Weaver doesn't have an ideal start, he can always be brought back to the safe lane and start getting his farm in. If there's anything we know about Burning, he's he can find his farm in a relatively uncontested lane, and even in a contested lane, he normally does all right. So.
Yep, and it looks like DDC has an idea that DK were going to be switching up their lane. So instead of just sitting top with that Tidehunter, he's going to go mid and just give Mushy just a terrible time in there with the Rabbit.
Yeah, and this is exactly where we were talking about, that both of these teams are willing to be very flexible as far as the lanes are concerned. Lin actually dropping really low bottom lane. He's going to be brought down. That's your first blood. Looked like it must have been an arrow connecting out of MMY. And there's no setup down here, so looks like Lin just gets caught a little bit flat-footed, and a pretty big pickup there for DK.
Yeah, that's definitely something they needed. I mean, having the Mirana support, you want to be able to find kills early on, and they got it right away. So the sentry's also placed down in the lane from the Rubik, so I guess they were trying to like get the Weaver as well with right clicks, but Invoker not really the strongest. And uh-oh, DD's getting caught on as well. Stun, arrow, Kuchi, right click, and he's gonna drop as well. So
easy.
Great rotation there from Lanem, finding the opportunity, going down bottom after stacking his own big camp in his jungle. So Lanem running around the map, not really giving a crap about what's going on.
Yeah, I wonder, was he spotted by this Radiant Ward making his way over? I feel like he must have. I don't think he had a smoke, but yeah, just not very defensive play coming out of DD. He is going to be doing a little bit of dewarding here as LGD actually bring a bunch of heroes towards the mid lane. So looks like the game plan right now is all out pressure on Mushi, but that means that everybody else is actually doing all right. Yao doing pretty well as far as this 1v1 matchup is concerned up on top lane, but I feel like both of these heroes are going to get their farm at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I think Tidehunter can put a little bit of pressure, because I think Rubik's going to start making his way around the map. And as I say that, he's going to start running back toward bottom, so maybe not. But yeah, this matchup is pretty even. I think I have to give it a little bit favorable to the Tidehunter, just because of the recent changes from Anchor Smash and Kraken Shell.
Yeah, definitely. And ISSS, as we can see, getting harassed pretty low here. Lin just completely zoned off the creep wave right now, since MMY is actually sitting over in the tree. So this is definitely not the start you want for your Invoker here. And Arrow's going to fly just barely off the mark. Those boots of speed for Lin going to help him out quite a bit, but he still needs a ton of right-click damage there. And well, just sitting on a pack of tangos at the moment. Actually uses the Cold Snap just to secure a CS. That's when you know that the Invoker is having a hard time.
Desperation Cold Snaps.
Desperation snaps. Okay, yep. So what do we got? Lanham's still down here. He's looking for some more kills. They're trying to get as much as they can out of these two boots first heroes. Meanwhile, the Lich still doing his thing over at mid lane. The Mushi's still finding a couple of creeps here and there with the bottle spam. And Lanham comes in for the dive. Actually ends up whiffing on the Burrow Strike. Cold Snap going to go down MMY. He needs to stop tanking this tower. Gets lifted up. Dropped down on his teammates. So he's dead. And DK get absolutely nothing out of that. That whiff Burrow Strike really cost him.
Yeah, and that was actually a level 3 Mirana as well. So a decent amount of experience going the way of LGD. And it looks like it's going to be a Quas Wex Invoker.
Okay. So, a bit more teamfight centric, I guess. They've got the Tidehunter, the Lifestealer is going to get up one core item and pretty much be ready to 5-man, so I guess that's the game plan for LGD.
How do you feel about that, having a 1 Lifestealer as your solo carry?
This game, I don't know if it's that awful, but I think it puts the pressure on LGD to close things out pretty quickly, especially against the combined Weaver and Tiny. Even if Mushi ends up going, say, like a Blink Dagger build to just try and get pickoffs through the mid game, Tiny is still a very relevant late gamer, even if he makes that diversion. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like LGD are putting themselves on, okay, look, we're just going to have to 5-man and close the game out quickly, use our teamfight power as best we can. But we'll see if that works out, just because you're pushing into a Tiny, you're pushing into a Sand King, and you make one slip up, and I feel like that could just be the game with this kind of game plan that they've got going on right now.
Yeah, I think Yao needs to be playing pretty careful. They saw the rotations coming out of the Sand King and the bottom, so I don't think he should get caught out by that, but he's still playing a bit far up. It might actually get him.
Yeah, the line is actually being drawn from the Lich, so he suspects that this is happening, but I don't know if his presence here is going to be enough to turn things around. The Ravage goes out, but isn't going to get any kills. They actually burst down Lanham immediately. MMY still here. He lobs the arrow, but Yao is just way too tanky, so the Ravage ends up securing the 1 kill. Really timely rotation in there from DDC. Looks like he just knew exactly what was coming there. He even drew exactly on the minimap. He was like, hey, look, the supports are coming in from the side. Let's just turn this one around.
Yeah, they
do exactly that.
The nice wards that they have in mid lane actually end up spotting them rotating toward Mushi. And I'm actually surprised that I thought Mushi was going to smoke, because he ended up perching his own smoke for himself. And I thought he was going to rotate with them toward that top lane, but it didn't end up happening. And now they basically give a free kill to Yao. And Ravage is expended, but definitely worth it there.
Worth it. Yeah, it's you can't be holding on to the
on mid. Here's the toss on the Sand King, and he gets the rage off. Land him a little bit off time with the stun.
And I guess that's the one big difference between tossing somebody in and having a Blink Dagger. If you have a Blink Dagger on the Sand King, it's basically an instant stun. It's very, very difficult to rage dodge, but if you hear the Sand King flying through the air at you, then you've got a little bit more of a chance. So, Rabbit survives. Back to the fountain he'll go. And the Invoker actually recovering reasonably now in bottom lane, since DK went for that unsuccessful rotation up towards top.
Yeah. And looks like they're bringing back that tri-lane toward the bottom lane, and Stampede's going to be used. They're going to try to dive on Lin. Nice tornado there.
MMI, he's got the arrow, leaps forward, gets the arrow, but they've actually decided that they want to go for the Rubik instead. So it looks like DD going to be caught in a corner, gets the lift off, doesn't have level 6, so no Shikuchi steals or any shenanigans for him. Down he'll go.
But Mushi might go down mid right now. Oh no.
Mushi
oh, he gets the avalanche.
Phase boots for Rabbit, but nope. Bottling up for Mushi, so looks like he's going to be okay. He's actually got a toss. Rabbit might need to be a little bit careful here. Is there any more rotation? No, there is the Lich up on the high ground. But it looks like that's going to be that.
Yeah, that was pretty damn close. Rabbit uses his Infest just to heal himself up. And right now, the supports are feeling a bit underwhelming on the side of DK.
Yeah, they went for these boots first. Things were looking pretty good. Bottom lane, they got the kill on, they got the first blood on the Invoker. They immediately killed off the Rubik as well. But since that point, haven't really been accomplishing that much. Lanham has actually gone for a bottle of his own here. That's going to slow down his Blink Dagger progression a little bit, but it does help him roam around a little bit. Does help him continue to apply pressure to the map, though. For the time being, he is just sandstorming and trying to work towards that Blink.
Yeah, lets him also just, he can run around and try to get some runes, because Mushi doesn't really look like he's been moving for those runes. He's just going to be constantly bottle crowing, and now they do pop that smoke that Mushi had earlier, and Mushi did pick up his phase boots.
Yeah, so they are going to be moving the Tiny around a little bit to gank. They are still going to keep their lanes locked down. The Mirana going to get a little bit of farm there, and Mirana always a support that can transition into having a little bit of semi-carry potential later on in the game. But DK making their way down towards bottom lane, looking to set up this gank. Lin, the obvious target. There's going to be a toss in. Where's the Burrow Strike? There it is to follow things up. But Lin, he's got the tornado. He gets it out on all three. Can he get into the Ghost Walk? Not going to be able to. They lift up the Sand King. Bolt thrown out, and looks like the Sand King will end up taking a spill. But DK going to continue going. They've got the toss in. DD, one more right click to finish him off. But in the meantime, there's a dive top lane.
Ravage was used. Yeah, I was watching that one, actually. So they've ravaged. Ice ran through the trees with the Stampede. He actually was TPing. He probably had about like 0.2 seconds left on his TP, and they ended up catching him with the Anchor Smash.
So actually ended up being a 2-for-2 all around the map, I believe. So not the best trade there overall. Burning actually playing very aggressively bottom lane. Gets some more damage down on the tower. Another TP coming back in from the Rubik. So people just kind of sticking to their guns for the most part here. There is going to be an EMP. Burning. Snapped up. Loses his mana. Meanwhile, the Mirana is actually going to end up falling over at mid lane. As Rabbit picks up that kill by himself. No Infest used either. So
he actually had an Invis rune, and he was standing on top of him, so he caught him a bit off guard there. It didn't seem like he had any idea about it, and now top lane, they're just keeping the pressure on Ice, not letting him get any room, and right now it's looking pretty damn good for LGD. This Tidehunter's got a lot of money. He's got Arcane Boots, Ring of Regen, 1,300 gold on him, so if he wants, he can rush toward that mech, or he can just decide, I'm getting close to a very early Blink Dagger, I'm just going to do that.
Yeah, and this is looking like where the 5-man strat from LGD is actually going to end up paying off pretty big. DK, things are going all right, but you can't say that they got out of the early game unscathed, and pretty substantial golden experience lead actually heading towards LGD right now.
DDC looks like he might be caught, but oh no, Mushi didn't actually end up rotating. I don't think he saw him. Oh, he's getting out of there quite alright. Meanwhile, Lanem just doing his do-do-do in the jungle, trying to pick up some farm for himself.
How is that Blink Dagger coming along? So 700 gold for the time being. Does have 2 big creeps, so make it 900. And we are going to have a pause coming out of the Invoker here. But how do you feel that things are going for DK? Ice actually with that death, his Blink Dagger is not looking all that close. So you do have to start to wonder who exactly is going to be, who's going to be moving around, who's going to be making the space for DK, because it looks like everybody would like to grab a bit of farm. I guess Mushi and MMY can maybe team up and start looking for some pickoffs, but I do worry. We talked about whether or not the 5-man strat from LGD was going to work out, but if they start 5-manning, I don't know if DK can even put up a fight to defend these tier 1s.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the Rubik at this point as well, he's level 6 already, so he's got his steal. They've got the Ravage is going to be up very, very shortly, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we see them group up and go for a tower. And DK, at the position that they're in, I don't think that they can defend. They have a bottom sinking, which are a bit under-leveled. Mushi's not doing so great either. He was getting a lot of pressure from that lane, and he's only level 7 with phase boots as the mid solo. So it's looking pretty good for LGD.
Yeah, and DK just going to keep on roaming around looking for these cute combos. There's going to be an arrow stolen from DD as he actually TPs over towards the mid lane. Looks like they're going to be looking for Burning here. Arrow to fly in. Should not connect. So Burning's going to be okay, but no, potential gank target denied on bottom lane, and Lin just playing back pretty defensively for the time being. He's actually picked up a chainmail here, so...
Mirana ulti used, but there's a sentry in the lane, and they are very aware of what's going on right now. Lin's just hiding all the way in the corner.
Yeah, so do you think we're going to be seeing, is it Mech Invoker?
Mech Invoker and Blink Tide, I think.
Yeah,
that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, I guess Tide was considering it a little bit earlier, but with the start that he's had, I think the Blink Dagger is a perfectly reasonable pickup here.
Smoked by LGD, line drawn toward mid lane, so Burning needs to be a bit careful here, and he might actually get caught out. The lift, sentry down, and yeah, he's going to go down very easily there.
Yeah.
Damn, LGD.
Yeah, LGD looking good, making the pickoffs happen. There is going to be DK making their way down bottom lane to have another shot at Lin here, but like we said earlier, he knows what's going on. He's going to throw the Tornado EMP out. Doesn't connect on anything, so gets rid of 2 of his defensive spells. Doesn't actually have enough mana to Ghost Walk right now. But a couple more spells spammed at him, he will get it out of the stick. Meanwhile, over at mid lane, LGD doing just fine. No glyph available for DK, so looks like tier 1 tower about to take a spill here, and
Blink picked up by Tide. Mushi's going to be in trouble here. He's got the Infested Lifesteal, he's got the Blink up in 2 seconds, and Mushi.
Out pops Lifesteal to say hello. There is going to be a Stampede, but they are going to end up investing the Ravage. Arrow flies in from the side. Mushi gets the toss back, but down he'll go, and DK just going to absolutely scatter. Lanham is going to bump into DDC over in the jungle, but no epicenter, so he's actually the one who needs to run a little bit here. Going to try for the TP out. The Chain of Frost cancels that. Trying to hide for now, but DDC going to keep on chasing. Doesn't actually have enough mana for a Frost Blast. It looks like it's just going to be good old-fashioned right clicks here. And there's going to be a kill secured by the Lich. So 2 more kills going the way of LGD. A little bit of pressure being applied by Ice top lane. He is now getting close to his Blink Dagger, but do you feel like that's going to be enough for DK to start turning these fights around and start turning this game?
I think if they can get some decent pickoffs, it could end up working for them. And maybe that's why they're just trying to run around and make so much space, just because they're just depending a lot on Ice. But I don't know, man. Like, Burning's going to be getting his Midas pretty soon as well, so maybe it could work. I mean, if they can find a lot of pickoffs, of course, it could be really beneficial, but if LGD just decides once they get that mech up on Invoker, they can group together and just go for tower push, it's going to be really hard for DK to get decent engagements.
So, do you feel like DK are just kind of defaulting back to a DK classic, which is 4 heroes making space for Burning, and Burning just gets absolutely huge and carries the game? That's really what I feel is going on here.
Absolutely.
With the Midas build.
Lanham's going to just go to the jungle. He's probably just going to guarantee his Blink as well, and then they're just going to be running around all over the place. Now we see an arrow attempt on bottom, but yeah, that's not going to get him. Rabbit more than aware. He's picked up his armlet on that Lifestealer, so very good farm on him. Net worth at the top, 5,900 for the Lifestealer. Not too much of a surprise. He was getting that babysit mid, and he was versus a Tiny, so Lifestealer excels quite well against the majority of strength heroes.
Yeah, and LGD are just about to swing into their big timing. They've got their Blink Dagger up on the Tidehunter, they've got the Armlet over on the Lifestealer, and they're just about to complete the mech on the Invoker as well. So this is where, not that their 5-man is necessarily peaked, but this is going to be the biggest discrepancy between their 5-man teamfight and DK's. And the question now becomes, can DK hold on?
And they're going to engage on Burning right now, but Ice is in the trees. He's ready for this. And is he going to try to get into decent engagement? But looks like they're more than aware. Lin getting caught out by it, and they should be alright.
Yeah, no Invoke for Lin. DD does have Shikuchi stolen, so he's going to be alright. Actually going to turn around a little bit here on Burning. Both teams awkwardly dancing back and forth, but
Mirana ulti, they might actually go for a re-engagement here.
Yeah. Blink's still on cooldown for a couple of seconds for Ice. He's considering it. Nobody else is really backing him up, however, so he's just kind of hoping that the low HP Rubik is going to make a return over to the lane, but that looks like not going to happen there.
Yeah. LGD they should probably just stick together. I don't think that they should. Now that they notice that the Centaur has that Blink Dagger, I feel like now that Lin has that mech, they should just all go toward that bottom lane, secure some towers. And then they have to just watch out because they also are going to have to worry about Lanham having that Blink Dagger.
Mushi's getting slapped. He's going to try and TP out. Can they finish him off in time? They do. Yao with the Blink in secures the kill. So another death for Mushi. Yeah, it looks like LGD might not even need to bring everybody down to this bottom lane to secure the tier 1, and that's pretty good. Also, we didn't really talk about it that much, but they're not half bad as far as killing off Roshan is concerned. So if they're feeling really confident to force a full 5-on-5, then they can just head straight into the pit and sort of beat their chest a little bit, say, hey, look, DK, we're going for Roshan. Can you stop us at this point? And I still feel like the answer for DK
MMY
is
mid lane right now getting engaged on. Chain Frost using. Where'd he go, guys?
He's gone. Chain Frost was Frost Nova.
And this is the beauty of having Shikuchi up on a Weaver, on a Rubik, because you can just get your positioning perfectly. And yeah, that's just what ended up happening. MMY farming a little bit aggressively in the mid lane, and DD just wrapping right around him, lifting him, nuking him. Chain Frost plus Lich Nuki. Pretty good versus support Murano. It's very squishy with those arcane boots. Yeah,
I really like LGD's willingness this game to invest their quote-unquote team fighting ultimates into just securing important individual kills. They have not hesitated on popping Ravage, on popping Chain Frost, just if it continues to keep this snowball moving. And I think that's the exact right mentality for them to be in right now.
Yeah, absolutely. One big thing I'm worried about for DK as well is, you know, definitely a lot of things, but Mushi's just getting extremely underfarmed, and just comparing his net worth to his Sand King even, he's just about tied up with him.
Yeah, Mushi has spent so much of this game trying to make space, but DK, they've got the Blink Dagger now up on the Sand King. This is a pretty bold play from them. They're actually going to end up smoking for... They drag Burning away from farm as well, but they know that top lane is pushed out enough that they should have been able to sort of force LGD back towards their own jungle, or they're going to be turning up in one of these lanes fairly soon. So
Oblivion staff picked up by Yao already, so this is going to be a very early refreshers coming out on the side of Tidehunter.
Oh man, that's very scary if you're
terrifying.
If you're DK. Who's going to buy BKB? Just nobody right now. Nobody has the farm to even imagine that. So
still a ways
DK
away though,
but spot.
Still scary. That's really damn scary. Definitely never want to see a Tidehunter with 17-minute blink Oblivion staff. And now, yeah, LGD grouping up, pressuring down some towers. They don't want to get caught out at all by the double blink daggers that's on the side of DK.
Yeah, and I feel like a really big theme in some recent matches that I've been noticing is people just underestimating the one-on-one power of the Tide. I've seen people get Batrider through the pool and just think, oh, hey, look, Batrider is a default win against a bunch of heroes. Oh, we're going to connect on Lin. Gets earned. He's still alright for now. DK not going to be engaging off this. They've got Stampede available. Everybody's here aside from Burning. He's actually applying some split pressure down on bottom lane, so DK still trying to secure at least some semblance of a trade, but LGD feeling confident, looking confident, just going to keep on moving forward onto this tower. More arrows to fly in, but this one is going to be deftly sidestepped by the LGD side. Mushi getting in pretty close here. Needs to be careful. There is some counter initiation coming in from the Sand King, but there's no defensive disruption. There's nothing to really save him if he gets blown up. But LGD just play it safe. They got what they came for. They got the tower, and they're just going to back off as a group.
I think that was probably the best decision there from DK. They got a lot of pressure. Well, not a lot, but they got half health damage done on that bottom tower and got Burning a decent amount of farm. But Mushi actually picked up a Ghost Scepter on that Tiny too.
Wow, he is just... this is just straight up DK saying, look, okay, if we're going to win this game, we are on Burning's back 100%, and everybody else is just completely devoted to trying to make space. And that's exactly how they're playing it out right now. They've got 4 heroes defending towers, 4 heroes moving around, Burning just kind of off doing his own thing, but he's still a ways away from being really scary, and a long ways away from, you know, having any semblance of 1v5 potential here. So
yep, sure. And we do see some aggressive wards coming out on the side of LGD in the enemy jungle, so very good plays by them for getting that down. They're able to see constantly whenever Sand King's jungling, so they're feeling very, very confident and very safe to farm out the lanes as much as possible. And Rabbit now has his SNY finished up, so in 19 minutes he has Phase, Armlet, and the SNY flying out on the courier right now.
Yeah, LGD, they know that the courier is over here. They've gone for a smoke. Lanham just going to be blinking away a little bit further. Smoke is yet to be revealed, and LGD going to keep on driving forward towards DK. This could be an awful fight. Yao at the front. Is he going to get this Ravage off? He gets it on 2. The Stampede not going to be enough to get them away. In comes the EMP. That's going to blow up the Mirana immediately. Ice not going to be caught by that tornado. Burning running through. Back on the other side. Lanham is going to be able to get a nice epicenter out. Kills off the Rubik, but Lin going to keep on chasing Ice. Now being right-clicked down. Gets gushed up. Finished off. The other 2 hero bar strike coming out of the Sand King. And DK executing about as well as they possibly could. Actually only end up trading 2 for 2. So I think given the teamfight situation there, a surprising result for DK.
Yeah, not too bad. Lanham actually got a pretty decent positioning there. His epicenter only landed on the Rubik, but at this point, getting those kills on even one hero is perfectly fine. I'd give that a bit to DK there. Ravage was expended, LGD was running through the enemy jungle, and yeah, just Mushi was able to farm a bit in the bottom lane in the meantime. And now, Mushi needs to be very careful here. There's actually an infested lifestealer in there.
Yeah, he is in so much trouble. Deafening Blast actually gonna whiff, throws back the Avalanche, but there's the open wounds. He's got the Ghost Scepter. He's looking for the toss. Throws Rabbit back towards Lin, and Lanham, he's actually snuck his way in here right now. Gets the Burrow Strike out onto 2, but they don't know who else is on the way from LGD, so DK just going to be making some cute plays to get themselves out of this. They do actually turn around. They've got the Avatos combo back up. Are they considering going back in here? Ice also hanging around. They've definitely got the Chainstone if they find somebody with the Burrow Strike. Rabbit walks forward. There's the Burrow Strike. They need the stop. They need the Avalanche. They've got the burst. DK pick up the kill, and they are going to be able to stampede back to safety. So, nice little pick. DK continue to make space, and the game plan, at least for now, is still on track.
Starting to work a little bit. MMY is not really having at all of a good game. He's 0-4 on the support Mirana. Not even really able to join his teammates just for those pickoffs, because, yeah, he's just trying to keep lanes split pushed out, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like the Mirana is just kind of transitioning into farming. She's got Arcane Boots picked up. There's a headdress as well, so looks like MMY has just kind of relegated himself to, okay, look guys, I'm gonna sit here and farm a mech. You guys can go and have some fun ganking around the map. You know, Mushi is just 100% on space creation right now, and while this isn't exactly a semi-carry Mirana, DK feel that they just need that little bit of extra help if they're gonna win a team fight at this point.
Yep. Burning, going for that Lincoln's now. He's got almost all of it. He's about 800 gold away from that, finishing up the recipe. Lin picking up an Oblivion Staff on the Invoker, so we'll probably be seeing that Orchid on him. Pretty good item. DD picking up a Force Staff up on that Rubik, so they're going to be able to do some decent kiting with that. And, man, Yao is just getting dangerously close to that Refreshers.
Yeah. Do you like the Lincoln Sphere on the Weaver this game? I mean, it just... The big thing for me, doesn't help you against Ravage. And if you don't have a BKB and you get double Ravage, then I really worry for Burning doing anything in these fights. Good positioning is not going to save you from a Ravage right in the middle of all of the action.
I think they just need more than that BKB, and Rabbit might actually get gone on bottom lane right here. Let's see if they're going to do it. And
Epicenter available. Bunch of heroes in the neighborhood. Mushi hiding just on the edge of fog. He knows what's up right now.
Now is not the time to go.
Yeah, this is probably the worst possible time, is Tidehunter and Lich roll on up, but well, looks like just not going to be an engagement for the time being. Mushi going to duck down into the trees as well.
Look at them go. They're just hiding all over the place. But you know what? At the same time now, MMY is putting a little bit of pressure on this mid lane. Burning's just constantly farming the big camp in that top lane, and he does have his Lincolns finished up, and we do see Mirana ulti used. They're going on this Lich. The epicenter is used, but oh no, Tidehunter turning around the fight.
Oh, and Lanham in some trouble. He's trying to run away from the Chain Frost. Looks like he's okay for now. Meanwhile, Ice is going to try and TP up, but he gets clipped by the Deafening Blast, so he's going to be brought down. Mushi pokes his head out of the trees for a second, but the side's better of it, so back he goes. Rabbit is going to be TPing up towards top lane, but just a force back Burning there. So DK, let's call it a bold play.
A bit overzealous on their part, yeah.
to try and go for that one.
Oh, and Burrow strikes off the mark. But I don't know if they would have killed that Invoker. I mean, he's got mech. He's quite tanky. They need to get the combo basically perfect, and still then I don't think they're going to be able to get him. Yeah,
and no Epicenter either. It did get cancelled by the Ravage a little bit earlier, so probably not. Probably wouldn't have worked out, like you said. And I don't know if they had any detection either. No. So Lin could have quite easily just Tornado Deafening Blasted and just immediately Ghost Walked away.
Burning, I think that... I don't think the Lincolns was the... I don't know, like... I feel like if he just rushes BKB, it's such a problem for them, because he's basically the only carry now because of, you know, Mushi's now even going Blink Dagger, so he's just full-out space creating, so I think he kind of had to go this Lincolns, and he has to just then go into maybe BKB and Desolator.
So the Lincolns is just as a split-pushing item, as a way to just never have to go back and constantly apply pressure to lanes. Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're not, they can't really 5v5 at all, so what's the point of really having a BKB if you're not going to be trying to fight? So I can understand that for sure.
But the question is, how much longer can DK be dodging these fights? I think for now, things like these trades are actually going alright for them. They're getting some damage down on towers. Looks like this bottom tower is going to end up being denied by Rabbit, but Meanwhile, Burning was also swinging over towards mid. Do they have a lock on the courier here?
Burning wants it.
He wants it bad. There's nothing really relevant on the courier right now, but Burning still wants his kill. And he's actually going to find it. Burning gets the courier snipe, so...
Oh, and he's finding a Lich, but... Oh, yeah, he might be able to take down the Lich as well. And top lane as well. Rubik's getting spotted out, but... Oh, he's actually hiding in the trees. They don't see him there. And, yep, Burning gets the kill. And now he's getting engaged on, but he's got the time lapse, and he's perfectly fine. Rubik stays alive as well, stunning himself into the trees. He's doing quite good for himself now. He's running onto Burning. He might actually be able to catch him, but the Lincoln is down for 5 more seconds.
Yeah, Burning gets caught out here. They close the gap. They get the tornado up into the air. Do they have the burst damage here? The Lincoln's comes back off cooldown. And that's actually going to be Burning surviving. Can we get a re-engagement here? Ice comes in with the stomp. Lanham, considering the go, is going to go for the burst strike forward, but they choose to focus over onto Lin instead. Looks like a few more right clicks might be able to bring him down. Nice force staff coming out of DD, going to keep him alive. Only for the time being, burst strike comes through, but they don't manage to save the Invoker. Ravage going to be invested here as well. Rabbit finally turns up to join the fray. Ice is trying to find a way out on the side, but not going to happen. But Lanham with the dominating streak. They've lost 3 for 1 so far. DDC also a little bit late to this party, and DK, another teamfight win for them, or another skirmish win at the very least.
And still, again, where was the Marauder the entire time?
Hitting creeps,
He's
man.
just doing his own thing.
He's got his support items now, so this is where we start to see all of your shiny actual right-click items coming out of MMY. And it could turn out to be that MMY is actually the second true core for DK if this game keeps dragging on.
Yeah, I think maybe this... he seems pretty underfarmed. He's more so the support.
Yeah, he's still a support for now, but you know he's bottom of the net worth. But he's got dreams. He's got aspirations.
He's got aspirations. I mean, Burning. Overall, that engagement was just beautiful there by DK. Tidehunter picks up his refresher now, so that's gonna be a bit scary to team fight into that. But overall, they're finding the pickoffs that they kind of need. They're making a good amount of space for Burning, and he's getting quite farmed. He's another 3,000 gold on him. Tiny's got his blink that he just purchased. Now he's got another 2,500 gold. Yeah. Things looking not so shabby for DK.
Yeah, and as far as the graphs are concerned, it's looking like a definite turnaround. Gold swinging back towards 0. Experience actually over in DK's favor at the moment. And LGD, where are the next big item pickups? So they've just got that refresher orb.
AC almost done on Rabbit as well, so that's a scary life stealer.
So they probably wait for the AC and the Orchid, and then probably look to force things right then and there, just because they're not getting particularly close to anything else. Both supports have pretty much just picked up items or just picked up some support stuff. I've actually got a gem picked up over on the Lich.
Great pickup there. I was about to comment on that as well. Because you know what, they're getting a little bit picked off just because it seems like DK knows where they're moving. So now they're going to be able to take out some of those wards and acquire some of the map control that they desperately need. But these blink daggers are doing work. They really are. Like the Centaur blink, the Sankir blink, and the Tiny blink. Like they're finding a lot of picks. And now Mushi actually goes ahead and buys himself a 4-step too. So he's really a space maker. Yeah, I said that he might, you know, kind of divert for the blink dagger and look for pickoffs on the squishies during the mid game, but Mushi is pretty much just straight Warcraft 3 nuking Tiny build here. Yep, I guess he just wanted to prove you wrong. He's like, no, base skip. I will not go for this is how I play my Tiny. This is I don't go for any of these tiny carry shenanigans. I think it's fine here, like we said, just because LGD only really have the one late game core in the Lifestealer, just because the Invoker's gone Quas-Wex and he's not the highest level necessarily. So AC finished up on Rabbit. Lin getting close to that Orchid. Burning picking up that BKB off the courier very soon, and MMY actually decides to buy a gem of his own now to try to control the map a bit for them. Yeah, but the split push for DK is working. They're going to get a little bit of damage down on the tier 3 down on bottom lane, and LGD, quite frankly, just look a little bit lost. Look at Lanham's positioning. He just blinked into those trees. So manly. He's ready to set up for bottom in case someone goes, but Tidehunter, probably not the most advisable target. I couldn't even see him on the minimap. I'll be straight about that. I was like, oh, where's Lanham? Okay, look for the dot. Oh my god, he's going in. He's going in. They've got the Stampede. Do they have the combo? Yao! Oh, baiting the Ravage, I feel like. Yeah, gets the Ravage out. Can they survive here? He pops the Refresher, but he doesn't have a second Ravage. There is going to be a Storm Bar Strike coming through from DD, so they get the Ravage, they get the Refresher, but they don't get out safely. LGD do manage to find at least the one pickoff there. Interesting. Yeah, that was a bit crazy. That was a bold move. I think had they got, say, the double 4-staff away after forcing out the Ravage, that would have been big plays. Yeah. But
DD there in the right place at the right time. So nicely done by the Rubik, but it's not. That doesn't look like it's really gonna lose DK
top lane
anything.
now. Looks like Rabbit might get engaged on Ice Invis. Oh, the bug's off the mark, so he's not gonna go. Oh, but now he might go for a courier here too. Nope, Ice backs up.
And is that the... Okay, so there is the completed Orchid over on the courier. The AC is finished. So LGD, this is their big timing. This is their second big timing. We talked about Blink, Mech, and Armlet, and now we've got the Orchid Refresher and the AC. So LGD really going to be looking to force things. DK going to continue to be the nuisances that they are, split pushing out as much as they possibly can. Ice still scouting with this Invis rune. And Lanham has gone pretty much full split push Sand King. He's actually got boots of travel here. Mushi fending off the push over at mid. Going to spam things down, lift Rabbit up into the air. He's going to be able to blink back to safety. Top lane pressure along with bottom lane LGD. They have to make up their mind pretty quickly about whether they're going to blink in and Ravage here, or if they're going to back off and deal with the Weaver. Do we have Glyph available for both sides? No, Glyph is just being used by the Dire. Ice is going to come in. Do they have the Force Stabs to get him away? He's got one Force Stab. He needs some more Force Stabs here. Ice actually gets slapped down.
MMY had the mech too.
Yeah, and LGD up onto the high ground. 3-man burst strike coming out of Lanham. There is going to be an arrow over onto Rabbit, but the Force Staff plays continue to come out burning. Has TP'd back now, gets his Lincoln Sphere popped. Mushi actually being a huge pain in the ass. He's intercepting the creep wave to re-enable backdoor protection, just to force LGD back to try and deal with him. And looks like he's going to keep on going. Mushi just denying LGD the opportunity to push up onto the high ground. This is really cute play for Mushi, but it's also super effective. He gets the TPs, and they hold off the push.
Yeah, and now it's just like basically, now go to top, split push that as well, so he's just being so obnoxious, and this is a great move by Mushi here.
Yeah, what a pain. And LGD, they don't want to leave. They're like, look, this is our timing. We have to go up onto the high ground. We have to get this push. We want this tier 3. It's really low. But DK in a pretty good position. It looks like they want to try and take this fight outside of the base. Lanham lurking in the trees, has that epicenter available. The tower goes down, but in comes the epicenter. Who can he find first? They jump it. It's on top of 2. Can he get this Ravage off? It basically hits on nobody. The edge of the AoE does clip on Lanham, but he's already done his job as far as this fight is concerned. And LGD, they've got another Ravage available. Burning has popped his BKB. DK, knowing that they can't chase out too far, are going to head back into the base. Rabbit going to eat a few slaps from Burning. And the Moonlight Shadow is going to end up being popped off. LGD indecisive about whether or not they want to re-engage. They've got the second Ravage. They're clustering around the Tidehunter. He's got the gem as well.
Oh, he does, sorry.
Arrow flies in. Not going to connect on DD. He's got a Burst Strike stolen at the moment, so potential for some big plays there. Mushi heads a little bit further down again. Goes for the Creep Wave intercept. He's feeling pretty safe with his Force Staff and his Blink Dagger.
So obnoxious.
What a pain.
But it's really good moves. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of teams doing this. It's like, oh god, we can't really team fight that well right now. We need to do something to buy ourselves some time. So you see people just go, cut creep waves, pull them into neutrals, do whatever they can just to prolong it as much as they can. Because now, what they really want to do is wait for Burning's BKB to come back up before they want to fight again. And we do see him pick up a Crystallis, so he's not even just going to go for that Desolator on that Weaver this time. He knows we need to defend these racks, otherwise this game could get out of hand.
Yeah, it's here, it's now. LGD actually end up escorting their creep wave all the way up into the base. They're going to make sure that there's no shenanigans coming out of the Tiny, and looks like DK might have to take a straight up fight here. No epicenter for 35 seconds, so Lanham going to consider himself pretty expendable. Rabbit just going to come up with the rage, is going to get tossed back to his teammate here, and Lanham looks for the Burst Strike, actually gets it to the tornado. The arrow flies in on top of Lin. Can they burst him down? Lanham's already dead. They've jumped on top, but Burning now has his BKB back up. DD pops the Ghost Scepter. He's all right. The fight continues to rage a little bit further down. DDC throws at the Chain Frost, but MMY going to deal with that one with a leap. Mushi pops the Ghost Scepter, trying to survive. Does he have his Force Staff? No, he's just going to toss the Lifestealer away, and his teammates are still here. There's going to be another Ravage, but DD's being focused down by Burning. Ice, and MMY. TP coming in as well from the Sand King with the BOTs. Lanham making the plays, comes in with the Epicenter. It's going to get cancelled. No, not enough with the Tornado. Lanham still gets it off. Rabbit being kited around in circles. They're trying to find MMY, but a Force Staff from Mushi keeps him alive. These team plays from DK running LGD in circles as Burning does the damage. Yao in trouble. Throws out one more Anchor Smash, but that's not going to be enough. Rabbit caught by the Avalanche up on the high ground. Force Staff from DD just dodges out of the way of the arrow, and Rabbit on the run. He is going to have another Rage in just a second. Rage TP, an opportunity. They have a toss. They don't. So it looks like Rabbit is going to be able to escape, but DK, biggest story there. Racks both still alive.
Big plays. They recover one of the gems as well now too, so that was LGD's gem there.
And we had mass buybacks during that fight as well. Buyback from the Sand King, buyback from the Rubik, buyback from the Invoker, who died again as well. And also a buyback from the Tiny. So, tons of kills. Wish we had a teamfight recap, but we don't. So.
DK now going right into the Roche pit, seizing the opportunity. They're going to be able to get this. And Birding's looking pretty scary now. He's got 2,400 gold on him now, too. So, wow. What team play overall. Like the 4 steps
was ridiculous.
all over the place. Just Lana and buyout. Just bots right in the middle of the team fight now. They do get, they get the Roshan for free. And now LGD could be in a lot of trouble here.
Lanham not going to get anyone with the burst strike. DD, what's he got stolen? He's got the avalanche, but it's not going to be enough. They catch 2 Mushi with the double kill. Rabbit now completely on the run, but he's still swarmed up. Can they close the gap? Lanham, the chain 4 stabs. Can they toss him in? They actually toss Ice. He's got to stomp in just a second. He blinks forward. Yao gonna do what he can. He can pop the refresher orb if he wants another Ravage, but he gets burrow struck up. Rabbit with the omelet toggles. He is gonna end up investing the refresher just to get the Ravage, just to make the space, but nobody's here to help him out. Yao gets the Ghost Scepter out. Nice deafening blast into an ice wall from Lin, and DK may be realizing this was a dive a little bit too far. They are going to end up backing off, and they lose nobody. They still got the Aegis. Things are looking good.
Yeah, they actually decided to give Mushi the Aegis instead of burning. Thoughts? I guess Burning's feeling pretty comfortable right now. He hasn't really gotten too close to dying in these team fights because it's pretty hard for LGD to focus him down. And I mean, with the teamwork that DK's had overall, just mass 4 stabs, I don't think Burning's feeling that too pressured at all.
Yeah, and I like this from Mushi because he can just jump straight in. He and Lanham can just team up. You know, maybe the Sand King dies, but so long as the epicenter goes off, so long as, you know, that happens, then Lanham's pretty expendable, and you've got a freebie over on Mushi as well. I guess the other thing is, you also know that LGD, when they're back up, they pretty much still only have the one game plan, which is immediately start 5-manning again and just look to force the game shut. But if you've got Mushi, you know, going for shenanigans, continuing to cut the creep waves, then the Aegis is a little bit of extra insurance, especially since we've been hyping up the team play, but Mushi has been doing things by himself, I think, the most out of everybody on DK, just in terms of where he's been on the map.
Yeah, so. Mushi, okay, he gets out good. And yeah, now porting bottom. Lanham just ports bottom, he sees the opportunity and just gonna split push even more. They're just, I hate saying this, but they're ratting all over the place, really. They're buying so much time and space for themselves, and it might actually end up working, because like we were saying before, LGD only has that one lifestealer. Yeah, and he's just getting kited. Yeah. Rabbit is just not, well, they don't have the lockdown that they need for him. We almost need better coordination out of the Tidehunter and the Invoker just to keep all these targets locked down. Burning might be in a little bit of trouble here, but it looks like he knows something's up. This is just way too suspicious. Nobody has turned up bottom lane just yet, and illusions are about to start wailing away. And if that's the other thing, I guess, as DK, you know that LGD, that their playstyle is that they are very unwilling to trade, and they are very unwilling to take what they would think of as unnecessary damage. So if nobody has turned up bottom lane to preempt the push that could be there from the Tiny, then you know that they're probably occupied doing something else, and that something else at this point of the game pretty much has to be trying to gank one of the important DK targets. So yeah, really well put. And we do see Rabbit. He picks up a Bastion now too, so he's going to be able to have a little bit of that extra lockdown to maybe try to find somebody, but right now they're going to be fighting. If they get caught right here, it could be a 4 versus 5, but no. Okay, very good fort there by the Invoker. He's running down bottom, and DK just doesn't, they don't even want to fight, obviously. I mean, they're just constantly going to split push. Lanham's just running between every single lane, putting down some nice aggressive wards to get vision of the rotations, and then just constantly cutting the waves. Just stun, caustic, of course, destroys creep waves. They have the stun, toss to destroy creep waves as well. And Burning just is perfectly content with farming, and they did actually end up passing him Lanham's bottle. So the next team fight, he's gonna have a DD on that Weaver. Oh man, these are the Cloud9 tactics. Yeah, right here. Big plays. And LGD, there's so many wards for DK that are successfully up. They're now gonna turn around a little bit with this gem. I actually checked a little bit earlier. I was like, did LGD lose their gem in one of these earlier engagements? Why is their map control so shaky right now? But they did. That was actually a brand new purchase. Oh, okay, so that buying up a new one. Yeah. Okay, so that's a fresh purchase. So now they're going to reestablish a little bit of, because I think, a little bit of map control. Yeah, Potom is holding one of the gems. Yeah, okay, there's one gem in the fountain. Yeah, there's one gem in the fountain as well. Okay, so there we go. My bad there. But LGD, they found a little bit of an opportunity. They're swinging back towards middle lane. And this time, again, no shenanigans from DK. They do have a glyph available. Actually going to end up popping it here for the range spotted on the side right here. Oh, Lanham, he gets spotted, but he still gets the burst strike out into 2. They've got the combo. Yao
goes for the Ravage, but Ice, he's got a BKB available, realizing that the Tidehunter is not the most important target. He's going to leave him to burning. DD Weaver coming in, but the BKB's already been used, but another beautiful Burst Strike comes out of Lanham. The slaps are going to be there from the Lifestealer, but there's just so many stuns from DK. Ice actually jumps in, 4 staff away, not going to be enough. Second Ravage invested, this one only onto Mushi. Burning gets stunned up as well, but looks like Rabbit is going to be brought down in this man fight. Burning just barely survives. He's going to live to fight another day. Yao waiting up on the high ground. Buyback coming out of the Sand King. Mushi continues to go hard on DDC in the back line to this fight. Lanham, another Burrow Strike. This guy has done so much work for his team this game. Is he going to end up going down? Yao does manage to sidestep the arrow there. Burning going to keep on chasing. Few more right clicks come in, and DK,
they're doing it.
They're heroes on low HP, but they live. And the ranged Drax is still alive. What am I watching, Fog?
Just the teamwork really overall. I mean, LGD is a little bit... Their spell usage is a little bit questionable at this point. The first Ravage hit nobody because of the BKB being picked up by the Centaur. And then overall, just that DD rune on the Weaver, he wasn't even really able to man-fight Rabbit, but a beautiful... MMY just made up for everything that he wasn't in those team fights earlier. He got the arrow right as the rage was ending on him, and he mech'd Burning to let him survive. So those beautiful plays there by the bottom, and just overall great play by DK. Just the buybacks, Lanham the kiting is just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, DK are running circles around LGD. I don't think there's any other way to put it, really. Everybody on DK, they've got that mind meld going on.
He didn't even lose the Aegis on Mushi.
Oh my god.
It just went down. It expired.
What
the hell is this?
Everybody knows where everybody else is, and there's always 4 stabs, and there's always mechs. And meanwhile, LGD just seem like they're all kind of playing off by themselves. The Tidehunter is getting isolated, and they're forcing panic ravages out of him. LGD are just absolutely scattering every single time it comes to a team fight.
Like I'm clicking on Yao's items. He got the refresher and everything beautifully early, and now he buys 3 like kind of random items. It's just a casual plate mill, a casual.
I gotta live,
and it goes.
I gotta live.
Yeah, he's trying to survive, but they're just doing such a good job of controlling the game on the side of DK. And now we do see another item coming out toward Rabbit. He's got his Abyssal Blade finished up, so no buyout on Rabbit now.
Yeah, and that could. Well, I don't even know if that's going to be. No buyout is that important. I don't think DK are really looking to exploit anything. I think the way that things have been going, they are perfectly happy with. They're like, okay, look, they can't win a team fight. We're winning all the team fights. We probably win the late game because, as we said, we've got multiple cores and a transitioning core in the Marana. So things are looking pretty good for DK on that front. And
LGD had just bought that gem that we said, and they lost it. So now there's 2 gems at the base of DK.
They got a nice little stock.
Mushi picks up his own BKB, so now he's not too afraid of the Ravage or of being locked down at all. And Jesus, do we dare say it? Is this the turnaround?
I think this is the turnaround. Yeah, DK can probably just keep playing this split push style. Like we said, they just lost the gem over on LGD, so finding ganks, even just moving outside of their base, is going to be very difficult. But
here's the smoke gank, Infest onto inside of Yao. He's got the double Ravage up, and they're going all the way in. And Mushi mid might get caught out. No, nice Blink Dagger.
Yeah, he's got Blink. He's got 4 staff. He's up the cliff, and Mushi's away. So
now their lanes aren't in a good spot. Like LGD can't do this because if they do, their lanes
they're getting
desperate. Pushed out so hard. Yeah, they're getting absolutely desperate. Jesus, I can't believe this is happening. And now Roshan's going to be... This is actually the latest Roshan possible, I think. Or almost the latest Roshan possible.
I think it's pretty much exactly the max spawn. I think I've actually seen like 3 or 4 minimum spawns, so exactly 8 minutes. Oh, jump in mid. They've got Mushi. They're going to refresh. They had a second smoke, so this time around, Mushi not going to be able to blink away. But LGD, can they actually break up onto the high ground? Does Mushi have buyback?
Yes,
he does. Do they have Glyph? Not just yet, but LGD being a little bit hesitant. They're going to plop down a Sentry Ward. They know that they don't have a gem anymore, so need to be cautious about the Moonlight Shadow. Lanham again surveying everything from up on this cliff, ready to jump into the fight. Rabbit goes in with the Alacrity and the Rage. They do manage to clean up the range tracks, but that means no rage for a little bit. In comes Lanham. Can they burst down DDC? No problem whatsoever. Burning pops him with the crit, and now Ice, he's caught DD on the retreat. The 4 staff is going to be enough. A second 4 staff from Lim, but he's just gotten rid of his own escape mechanism here. Is he going to be able to escape? No, Lanham continues to make the plays. Rabbit still on the retreat as well. LGD consider the turnaround. They've still got this Ravage. The immediate Kraken Shell, really unfortunate for Ice. DD actually ends up tanking the arrow, though Rabbit would have been fine with the rage regardless. Toss comes in for Mushi. There is going to be a Ravage. MMY will be brought down, but Lanham, he's still got this Bar Strike. He held on to it all this time. They don't have any Ravages left. Rabbit getting stunned up. Can he fight through the Weaver? He gets the bashes. They bring him down, Immediate buyback, however, from Burning. He returns to the fight with the time-lapse. Lanham lifted up into the air, but he gets the burst strike up onto the high ground. He's still alive, and Burning takes the high ground for himself. Lin going to be chased down. Lanham, another burst strike coming up in a few seconds. Lin, okay for now. He's actually managed to grab one of these gems in the midst of all the fighting. But off to the side, who have they found? They actually bring down Rabbit. Mushi and Ice 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 teaming up for that one.
The buybacks.
DK.
Let's look at the buybacks. Lifestealer's got buyback. DK is probably fine. They're going to check the Roche. Unfortunate for them, it's not spawned just yet. It's about a minute left on that. And they actually spend a lot of buyouts there. So that was a much better team fight coming out of LGD.
Yeah, that time around they make much more of a dent on DK with forcing out pretty much every single DK buyback, aside from the Sand King, who didn't have it available. So DK just threw 8 lives into that team fight. Fortunately, nobody died a second time around, but it does go to show that if LGD come to the fight prepared, they have that Ravage available, and they get a little bit better coordination done, then maybe still a chance to close out this game.
And that bash, those timely bashes there by Rabbit,
those clutch bashes.
And Burning, like, he was so close to having his butterfly there, too. If he'd probably picked that up before the team fight, it would have been a completely different scenario. But he also held on to his swarm for a very long time in the fight, so Rabbit not getting applied with all that minus armor that we've been seeing him actually get hit by majority of the time.
Yeah, so what do we have coming up soon? LGD, fortunately for their sake, have not been throwing nearly as many buybacks into these fights, so probably moving towards, I would guess, a Hex on the Invoker. Tide, not sure what he's going to be finishing up, 2200 gold, so not too close to anything huge. And Lifesteal are actually 2.6k for now. What are you expecting as the next couple of item pickups for LGD, aside from maybe that Hex?
Probably the Shivas coming out of the Tide Hunter. Yeah, I think the Hex on the Invoker is pretty appropriate. They do are looking for another smoke right away. But
Roshan, already claimed by DK.
And now he's got an Aegis. He's got no buyout, so he's going to spend his money on that butterfly. And this is their fight. They can definitely take this one if they can get a decent engagement whatsoever. Double Ravage is up again from the Tide Hunter. But as for other items, I think just the Shivas and the Hex are probably the next 2 items. But the Hex is going to be quite a ways away. And Shiva's, although it's semi-close, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting it before this next team fight.
Lanham with the invis, looking to scout out some smokes, looking to reveal a gank. He isn't going to stick around long enough for this one, however. But LGD still revealed. They haven't been spotted by DK just yet, but again, there's that itch. The bottom lane isn't being dealt with. Top lane's pushing in a little bit as well, so DK just going to make sure that they stay off the map, stay safe, until they ascertain 100% of what LGD are up to. The one downside for Burning here is that he doesn't have a TP scroll, so he can't, because he's got this Aegis, he can't actually go and split push one of the side lanes and force LGD into a bad position. So it looks like this Aegis is going to force things one way or the other. It looks like he is probably going to have to try and participate in this next team fight.
Uh-oh. Take a look at that top rune.
It's a dangerous, dangerous time.
The bottles, I'm pretty sure the bottle has been sold now at this. Nope, Nonum still has his bottle, so okay. I think Ice Ice is going to go spot that out maybe, and they could use that to their advantage.
Yeah, Lanham actually made some pretty big plays with a bottled haste in the previous fight. It helped him a lot as far as keeping up with people, so.
Yeah, and he did pick up a Yules, which I don't think we got a chance to talk about. Nice pickup there for himself as well.
So what do you think the big feature of this Yules here? Is it defensive, or is he trying to keep, say, the Lich out of the fight and prevent the Chain Frost?
I think it's probably defensive. I mean, if he gets Orchided, he doesn't have a BKB at all,
yeah.
So he has to just be very, very careful for that Orchid. Taking a look at everything else. Yeah, I think that's probably what it's there for.
Okay.
And, I mean, the next item for Rabbit is probably going to have to be that MKB, right?
Yeah.
He's going to have to have
I don't think he has any other choice, really. He needs to be able to focus down the Weaver, and like we said, he's the one who pretty much has to do the damage. Lin does have that ultimate orb up, so as we were talking about, Hex, the likely next choice for him, but we'll see if DK are even going to give them the opportunity to complete that. They did pick up the DD over on Burning, but no space for a bottle, so he's just going to have to grab it straight up here. DD out in the front lines. They've got the Stampede. They slow him down. In comes the Chain Frost. DK going to have to Delta split that one. They're going to be just fine. Burst Strike comes in a little bit further. This Rubik is somehow still alive. Gets lifted up into the air by the Yules. Arrow flies in. Not going to be fast enough there, but Burning, he still wants his kill, but he's been lifted up into the air. They're going to invest one Ravage just to keep the rest of the team out. Will they invest the second Ravage as he comes back to this fight? Burning.
Timely bash, but
he's still alive. He hasn't actually popped the Aegis just yet. Stays alive, LGD. What am I watching right now? This is absolutely ridiculous.
Big plays is what it is. I
Just
mean,
this is just huge plays. Like
I can't believe he didn't even end up losing that Aegis. Ravage was expended. Yao did not want to commit that second Ravage just to getting the Aegis, which I think was probably the best choice.
I think they assumed that he was just dead. I thought
Yeah.
I think they thought the same as I did. Like, oh hey, look, we ravaged him. Everybody is hitting him. Surely he dies, and maybe we can use the second Ravage for his second life. But
Courier spotted. It's Ice gonna go for it.
Illusion.
Ice. What's actually on that courier?
He's got the Shivas, but he passed off the Yao. I don't think he's gonna be able to go for it.
Okay, so for DK, they know that there's only the one Ravage here for LGD. Let's size up buybacks as well. Get a buyback available for Mushi. We've got a buyback available for Lanham. There's also a buyback available for the Invoker, but no BOTs, so not going to be relevant since they're the offensive here. LGD still struggling to bring down this one lane of racks. There's going to be another glyph. Rabbit thwarted once again as he backs off. Tornado to cover the retreat, but Lanham! He finds the 4-hero burst strike. Is there going to be any follow-up? Okay, no. Overhyped that a little bit, but...
No, I mean, it could have gone horrible. Like 4-man burst strike can get followed.
4-man burst strike, 4-man stomp, 4-man avalanche.
Yeah, it's a disaster
oh,
if they do it probably, but doesn't seem like everybody was in the proper position. But I think LGD kind of crapped their pants right there as soon as that burst strike went off on them.
They were like, "Oh my God, did we just lose the game?"
Yeah, and that's
right there.
Devastating too. And second Ravage is still not up for another 50 seconds. He did finish up that Shiva, so if they can bring down that Tidehunter, he does not have buyout. Lin desperately trying to find that sheep stick on himself as well. He's got the ultimate orb off. He's about 2,700 gold, so he's 800, 900 gold away from it. This game is unbelievable. And DK is just playing phenomenal. These 4 staffs are just ridiculous. The kiting potential is just...
Yeah. DK turned this game around
mind-blowing.
through sheer team play,
yeah,
pretty much. Like there was really nothing about necessarily about the lineup or the draft composition that during that crucial mid game where LGD had all of those items up on them that they were going to, you know, that DK had something to pull out to win those fights. It was just pretty much sheer execution, and they keep on pulling it through here. They are having a little bit of difficulty actually taking the fight to LGD. I mean, they've been on the back foot, and now the big question for them is whether or not they can transition into the much more dangerous attempting to breach high ground over on LGD. Of course, we talked about as the game drags on, the late game potential continues to grow for DK, but on the flip side, they are one team fight away from absolute disaster, losing 2 lanes of racks and then just having that be GG. And it could turn out that this tier 2 bottom lane that still stands could actually be a pretty big deal as far as this game is concerned, just because LGD not being able to go for mega creeps if they win a fight and then get a few more pickoffs means that they have to go for the slightly more dangerous play of going for the tier 4s, and that could give DK maybe a little bit of an opening. But
really good thing for DK at least is that Rabbit is now maxed. So he picks up his MKB, and now Sheepstick picked up by the Invoker as well.
He's 6-slotted. I mean, there's still an argument to be made about subbing out the Armlet and maybe the S&Y, subbing out the Phase Boots for BOTs, but at least for now, yeah, Rabbit is starting to cap out a little bit. Tidehunter's got that Shiva's, not a whole lot more progression out of him. We've got the Hex over on the Invoker. And what else? DK just continuing to split push. This has been the story of this game. LGD push down mid, there's some split pushing. LGD still managed to get things in a reasonable position to force up onto the high ground.
It looks like Mushi's pinging. He wants to. It looks like he might want to fight right outside the base. He's pinging right outside.
Yeah, they don't have the glyph this time. So if
Aegis is gone too.
If they let Rabbit up onto the high ground, this could be really troublesome. We're going to show buyback status for now. Mushi, he's being hexed up. Can they bring him down? There's going to be a 4-staff out from Ice. The Ravage! It connect on Burning. Can they burst him in time? They are going to be able to do so. In comes the second Ravage. Ice with the BKB, but Burning returns to the fight courtesy of buyback, but they have to win this right here, right now. Lin on the retreat. Mushi getting kited around a little bit. Yao stunned up. Nice 4-staff. The 4-staff plays continue to be absolutely crucial to this fight. Rabbit hasn't been able to hit anyone just yet, and DK, 3 heroes charging forward. Epicenter comes in from Lanham. In comes the arrow. Finishes off the Tidehunter. Bar strike through onto 2. Lanham continues to make the plays. Lin 4-staff down onto the low ground, but he's going to be finished off. Rabbit manages to slink down towards the bottom rune. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Oh my god.
DD also survives.
Is this happening? There's no Tidehunter buyout. Both Ravages are expanded. Invoker just finished up his Sheepstick. He can't buy out. It's just Rabbit against the world. They have a Rubik who used his buyout as well.
Oh, and Lanham, can he get this burst strike here? Rabbit gets the rage off. drops the Abyssal Blade, but the Force Staffs from DK just keep him away. And now Rabbit gets tossed back during the rage. He's going to be kind of here. Is going to get, well, is going to manage to jump himself into a creep to buy a little bit of time, but is that going to impede DK? They're all still relatively healthy. Things stall for a second here as DK do push up onto the high ground. LGD, Glyph available, going to be popped off. Rabbit pops out to say hello, but not going to be able to latch onto anybody. No Abyssal Blade available for him, so back to the fountain it is for him. Force Staff, Lift coming out of DD. What's he got stolen at the moment? It is a toss, but DK, first lane of racks for them. Burning, not going to end up going for the range drive. He's just swinging straight over towards mid. Starts wailing away in the tier 3, but LGD, everybody's going to be back up soon. Ice in some trouble, but the Force Staff plays continue to keep this Lifestealer absolutely bamboozled. There's going to be a clutch bash over onto Burning. More Force Staff plays over onto Rabbit, but he gets Force Staff into an arrow. Avalanche comes out as well. Rabbit going to keep on trying to find some pickoffs. Lanham yules himself up into the air. Can he actually get out of here? No. Will be brought down, but
Lanham is just making the most incredible plays I've seen in such a long time. Like, his ulti there in that team fight in the toward the mid lane, he ended up slowing basically everybody. Waits, lines up the perfect stuns, gets 3 people, yules as the Tide Hunter in the same time. Like, he's just doing so much. The Force Staffs all over the place from DK as well. Just beautiful synergy from them. Just such patience as well. Burning, he had used his buyback already, so he needs to probably spend his gold before this next team fight. But same time, they're just keeping the lanes as best they can pushed in so that LGD can't seize an opportunity to go high ground. But it looks like they're going to have to defend. Shiva's picked up by Centaur as well. So this next engagement's going to be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, Burning desperately wishing he could sell that BKB and buy a new one, but he's a little bit short, and you, of course, can't sell BKB anymore, so...
These Force Staffs, though, like...
Yeah, LGD, they head up onto the high ground. Glyph is available, so a little bit of deja vu as far as this fight is concerned. The double Ravage also available for the... Yeah, we're going to be looking for the plays. Arrow skirts in from the side. Lin just sitting behind his carry right now. Ice going to pop off the Shivas, but not looking for the engagement. DK creeps making their way in bottom lane. Rabbit, nice rage dodge on the Avalanche, but the Force Staff is going to keep Mushi out of harm's way.
And 35 minutes later, the mid-racks goes down.
Finally, right? Yeah.
Unbelievable defense so far from Burning. And now, yeah, like, pretty even game so far. Like, unbelievable. These, like, I'm just mind blown, really. Like, the Force Staffs are just so well played.
Too many Force Staffs.
Too much force.
So,
force is real.
So Roshan's respawned. Both teams should have a pretty good idea of this. Sunstrike did just scout it out from the Invoker. Arrow's going to come in and scout it out for DK. And the question is now, did DK go for it? They've got a little bit of intel from this. Well, they've got a little bit of intel from the bottom lane pushing in and from this ward up on the high ground. So DK, the call's being made. They're going to head straight in. The Rubic Illusion is going to scout this for now. There's actually a double damage sitting a little bit further down in LGD. They're on their way in. They've got both Ravages available. How fast is Roshan falling? Is it quickly enough? DK, looks like it's not going to be the case. Mushi jumps out, secures the double damage, but he gets hexed up. Is he in some trouble here? There is a Stampede to keep him alive for now, but he pops the BKB. He keeps everybody on LGD occupied as Roshan is finished off. Burning snags the Aegis. Is actually going to be an arrow connecting over onto Rabbit. He's okay for now, but...
That's not where they want to fight. They just they want to get the lanes up way more pushed before they do an engagement. And yeah, Lanham instantly even smokes. He runs all the way top with the smoke to try to push that lane out as best as he can.
Yeah. But just the diversion tactics from Mushi there. He was like, Roshan's not dying fast enough. If I stay in the pit, then we're all just going to get ravaged and we're all going to die. But if I jump out and I just start hollering and everybody on LGD pays attention to me instead of what's actually happening,
he didn't even end up dying either.
Yeah, no, he survived. He jumped in, he stole the double damage, he BKB'd, he Force Staff up onto the high ground, and away he went. So
you know what's my next question too, though?
What?
What's gonna end up happening once Lanham and Tiny finish up their Ethereal Blades? It's gonna be the Force Staff and Ethereal Blade plays all over the entire game. This
is gonna be the world's saddest Lifestealer, really if he isn't already.
And now he sells that armlet and he picks up a full heart on the Courier. So right now, if DK jumps before that heart gets out there, it could be a big deal onto them.
Yeah, and Burning, he's at the front right now. He's still got that Aegis. Still only the 4-second BKB. Mushi going to team up a little bit here as well. We've got quadruple buyback available for DK. Not a single one available for LGD. And again, maybe this tier 2 could be the deal breaker. DK having a space to fight where they can bring heroes back in, and this is actually a really dangerous push for LGD, especially because this is such a choke point. They jump in on top of Lin. He force staffs himself forward. He's in a little bit of trouble. He force staffs himself back. They've brought down one. The Rubik default already. Yao holding on to these Ravages very patiently. Mushi on the back lines, gets the toss out. Can they combo down the Tidehunter? That's the question. The arrow flies in. There's going to be a Chain Frost out onto Burning, but DK dealing with that one pretty deftly. They have lost the Sand King so far. Rabbit still just completely unable to find a target. They're comboing on top of Lin. He's going to be able to force staff away. The Ravage comes out. Mushi in a little bit of danger. EMP on top of him as well. Can they finish him off? They will be able to do so, but in comes the buybacks and land him with the 3-hero burst strike into the epicenter. No! He actually gets stunned up. They don't get the epi. Burning also backing off a little bit here, reconsidering his fight. Rabbit still looking very healthy with that heart. Yao jumps back in. He's used 2 Ravages so far. MMY on the run. Wants the leap. Not going to get it. Another burst strike comes in. Rabbit actually pinned in a corner, but can they focus him down? That's the question. Lin trapped for now. Somebody needs to pick up that gem to deal with him, but he's actually going to be able to get away with the Ghost Walk. And Rabbit, he's finally finding the targets. Ice. Pops off the cheese. He's going to be okay for now, but MMY returns to the fight. Another burst strike onto Lin. They finish him off. They've left Rabbit for last. Can they do this? He jumps inside a creep one more time. And looks like that is going to be that for that team fight. Taking stock. Centaur buyback used. Mirana buyback used. Sand King buyback used. And
Tiny
DK,
buyback used.
And yeah, and the tiny buyback used. And Cheese also used along with the Aegis. So
like these bashes are actually so timely.
So clutch.
He first hit bashed Weaver and actually brought Burning down basically from full health in one bash. Lanham lands a beautiful stun. It was going to be a really nice epi on 3 people, and first hit turns and bashes him as well. So a little bit of luck coming out on the side of the Rabbit, but this is just the story of buybacks now.
Yeah, buyback from Lin. There's still a buyback available for the Lifestealer, who has safely made his way back to the base, and DK are just running for the hills. They've successfully kited the Lifestealer around in circles up until this point, but what they haven't done is actually dealt with him in a fight as far as killing him off and
there's the first Ethereal Blade.
High ground. Yeah, Ethereal Blade number 1 comes out from Lanham. Mushi, what's he? Well, he just bought back, so
he bought a plate mail for himself too.
Yeah, item progression stalled a little bit there. Burning 6k gold up for the Weaver, so probably still going to be hanging on to buyback at this point, but what do you feel is the next big item? Does he consider just swapping out that BKB, or is there something else on his mind?
He probably needs a new BKB. I don't even know, man. These force staffs and everything is just like blowing my mind. He could even, I was thinking even maybe a Rapier, because he's not really doing that much damage in his team fights, but it's just so risky because he's one bash is basically getting him killed. So I don't know. Maybe even just I'm stumped.
It's a tough call.
I'm stumped.
Yeah, we're 62 minutes into this game. Things are getting just down to the wire. And
the biggest plus in that entire engagement, though, was the fact that Rabbit ended up living through everything.
Yes.
And he just had purchased the heart, and he has 4,000 gold on him as well now. So he still has that buyback, and just super clutch infests by him. Yeah,
the fact that there's always been a convenient creep wave nearby to save Rabbit when they leave him for last has been it's actually been huge here. But
this is honestly one of the best games I've seen in such a long time.
This is just fantastic Dota. It really is. And well, some of it LGD failing to execute a little bit during the mid game, but what we've seen since has just been absolutely great. But LGD, they swipe down that tier 2
creep wave top lane. It's absolutely
it's the Lanham split push. it's the Lanham split push. That's
double catapult. It's actually gonna be able to take out the tower, I'm pretty sure.
AC completed for your tiny Rabbit up onto the high ground. The Glyph's gonna be forced out a little bit early here. They're actually throwing Alacrity over onto the siege creep just to try and get a little bit more damage up. There's going to be a smoke. They jump in. They've got the bash. They've got the Abyssal Blade. Burning gets force staffed towards the enemy team. In comes the Stampede. Who have they found? They've got the stomp. They've got the burst strike. Who can they focus? Rabbit's going to get force staffed away. The BKBs from DK keeping everybody alive through these Ravages, but Burning, he's being focused down. He's dead. He does have a buyback available. He's going to be forced to use it. Time lapse is back in immediately. Rabbit looking for the targets. The Deafening Blast going to keep Burning locked in place. Ice. Reconsidering everybody from DK alive.
Top Rax is going down to those creeps. That massive creep wave from Lanham is just working. And do they even have TPs?
Where are the TPs? Lin?
Only got Lich.
No TP? Yao? No TP? Rabbit?
Armor the Raxes. Armor those Raxes.
armor everything. Oh god.
Oh, but Lanham. Porting in top lane. Is he gonna do this? He's gonna get him. He gets him at the These plays are just unbelievable on him. Just what a player. Holy
what a
shit.
Sand King. Oh my god.
This
okay, so actually in the Rax trade, DK get more out. They got 50% on the ranged Rax. They got 50% on the melee barracks. Melee barracks, of course, going to regen up a little bit, but DK's melee barracks still looking pretty good. And well, how is Roshan coming along? So we're going to figure out the respawn time in about a minute. But this is still such a close game. Is it just down to one team fight? Is the winner of the next team fight, if it's a convincing win, just the winner of the game? We're almost out of buybacks. We've got a couple of Radiant buybacks available, but
Rabbit still got his, and he's pretty enormous. And now, Rabbit might be caught out of position, but Ice's Blink Dagger is off cooldown. He's not able to follow up with the stun. That could have been the pickoff that they needed, at least to force a buyout from Rabbit. Wow. Yeah. This is just
tense Dota. This is very tense Dota.
This is amazing Dota, really.
So what else have we got going on? Mushi, he's got that AC completed, as we pointed out just before the start of that previous fight. Burning picks up a Demon Edge. So what are you expecting to see out of him here? Is it rapier time?
It just might be. I mean, he did use his buyback that last team fight, and he did have the Demon Edge before that. Is it worth the risk? He's getting blown up incredibly fast in these team fights, so I personally don't even think it's going to end up being worth going that rapier, because I think this is just a game of buybacks, like I was saying before.
Yeah. Do you think a survivability item changes how long he lives in fights at all, or is it just as soon as he gets stunned once or twice, that's just it? If he has a heart, it doesn't even
I don't think a heart
will
make a difference, really.
Yeah, and especially when, you know, we're talking about the MKB over on the lifestealer. The butterfly is just not doing a whole lot, so just adding more EHP isn't necessarily the biggest deal. And it looks like both teams just kind of vying for position on Roshan right now.
MKB picked up by the Weaver, yeah, so he figures it's not really worth that risk. I can definitely agree with him there.
There was a casual talisman on the Tidehunter a little bit earlier, but I think for now there isn't actually any evasion on anyone in LGD. But still a nice damage item. Lanham continues the Sand King split push over on top lane, and LGD actually just going to barrel in through mid. This is not a very subtle approach from them, but they do manage to make their way up onto the high ground. And Rabbit deciding, oh hey, the tier 4s are actually low. The Ancient is exposed. There's no glyph available for DK. Mushi going to jump in aggressively with the BKB. DK realizing that this might be do or die here. Yao, lots of patience from him. He's got double BKB to work with here. Gets the one Ravage out. It's on to Ice. They're going to focus him down. There's no buyback available for the Centaur. Can one more swipe from the Tidehunter be enough? It is going to do so. Lin dropping very low. Burning in some trouble. He's being finished off. Is this it? DK loses 3. Mushi gonna keep on trying to fight till the bitter end, but that is it. Buyback from the Sand King, not gonna be enough. Ancient gonna fall.
I'm done. Unbelievable. Wow, just unbelievable play from DK. I thought they were gonna win this one after all the massive plays, but LGD just showing it strong. They're not feeling demoralized after getting the game prolonged 40 minutes or so, or 30 minutes.
I just love that the final move for LGD was like, fuck it. Mid lane, team fight, win or lose. We're done with your shenanigans. We are done with this nonsense from DK. And that actually turns out to be it. And a very important win for LGD as well. I believe that puts them...
I think 3-1?
I think that's 3-1, and I think that's DK 1 and 3. Yeah. So that might actually be it for DK's run in this competition. I don't know if we had any other results that made their way in the last little bit. Nope, looks like that was the only game that was actually ongoing right now. There might be something else being played, but
wow,
we're going to jump out, and what a game. That was absolutely ridiculous. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Next match is going to be Newbie versus IG. I don't know if that's...
How can you even watch a game after that?
I don't know. I feel like I need to go lay down. Honestly, that was ridiculous.
It's like porn Dota. It's like just amazing.
Do you need a cigarette? I think that's the question. But so guys, that's gonna wrap it up. Any closing thoughts, Fogged, on the game aside from just gas?
Both teams, honestly, amazing. Just patience, like holding on to the Ravages, waiting for perfect opportunities. DK splitting up the pushing, cutting waves, doing just amazing.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
Okay, so guys, that's your summary for the game. We're going to be jumping out to a short break, but Join us soon for Newbie versus IG. Thanks again for tuning in to BTS2. I'm Baseskip. He's Fogged. You can check us out on Twitter if you want to. I'm sure you can follow the stream as well if you enjoyed the coverage. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.